Alright, who wants to do the intro?
I'll do it. Right here.
Okay, Trey, you can do the intro.
Welcome back. It's your boy, Allie, and I'm here to introduce you to my podcast. My guests.
You'll never
your
believe what I
podcast.
discovered in
My
Fortnite.
guests are what's your name? Craig, the journeyman,
Yeah.
and Linus.
Craig, yeah,
My friend
it's
Linus
Craig.
here is
Yep.
Dangerine.
Canadian
Mhm.
tech tuber.
Yeah.
Yeah, socks and sandals, man. The best footwear.
Anyway, since Trey botched our names, I'm Kyle, and that's Luke. That's Trey. Great intro.
Trey.
What's up?
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah, it is, I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with
Anyway,
it.
let's
but
get right into the news.
We don't have...
That's a
This is
good
an unusual
meme. That's not
podcast.
what the dead memes did. Alright.
All memes are dead. Push me to the edge. Okay.
All my friends are dead.
Alright,
All my
boys.
memes are dead.
Let's talk about what we've been up to as of late.
Alright, I'll start, because I'm a bad bitch. No,
Oh, damn.
my life has been super boring lately. Been working on this game that we're making. But it's
How's the game going?
pretty good. Today I just added this effect where you collect a fruit and it makes an explosion of the fruit you collected when you collect it. If you
Yes.
saw that on the
I remember
Snapchat.
seeing that on the Snapchat. I also saw you missing the watermelon.
Well, there's a reason for that. I fixed
Did
something
you get
today.
the dimensions off again?
Kinda. I fixed them today, so the fruits had to be really fucking big because when they got sent to me, they were tiny, so I had to scale them up. Well, I fixed the scaling, and they became huge, so I had to shrink them down. And I shrink them down a lot, and then the collider was still tiny, like a tiny little ball. So the
Mhm.
fact that I collected anything was
Hey, Luke.
an accomplishment.
Could you stop
Yes.
typing, please?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Not, it's not good for
Am
business.
I that
It's
boring?
not kosher.
Am I that boring, fellas?
You can hear that?
Yeah.
Damn.
Every now and
alright.
then.
Anyways.
It's just tap, 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 tap,
Sorry,
tap.
sorry, boys.
So that's all. What's up with you, Kyle? What's your life look like right
A lot of umpiring, a lot of streaming, up to 77 followers now. Since the last time we talked, I think I was right before Twitch affiliation.
Yeah, you were now at 50 yet.
So, I've reached Twitch affiliate status, and I've gotten some cheers from you and another follower, which is like pennies, but still,
It's money.
it's money.
Hey,
It's cash money, son. And we're growing
every
and growing.
penny you get from that is more than you had before, so...
But yeah, I'm having a good time streaming, having a good time hanging out with you guys every now and then. Not Luke, because he hasn't been able to come down, but Trey and Jacob.
I live far away. Well,
Hey.
relatively.
And, yeah, been making that cash money, been drinking some coffee.
Oh, lots
Ordered
of
some-
coffee.
You want some coffee?
Ordered some new coffee from Player One Gaming, not a sponsor. And also bought some coffee
Yet.
from Madrina's.
Not a sponsor yet.
Not a sponsor.
Not yet.
Also not a sponsor yet.
Yet. All right.
But yet it's
And what
open
about
in
you,
the future.
Luke? What have you been up to?
Dude, okay. Not that it's particularly interesting. I mean, I guess it's kind of interesting, but my life has been pretty fucking busy right now. Like, I don't know, doing 9 credit hours and then working like 30 hours a week almost,
Jeez.
and it's a lot of stuff for the summer. But you know, it's going good. Doing the computer science class and doing the physics. The physics is still just as I don't want to do it as much as I did before, but computer science I'm
Well, that's an
a little
understatement.
scared about, but but computer science has been going well, you know, so that's good. And
Mhm.
I mean, I know it's going to get a lot harder, but hopefully it continues to go well.
Nah, you'll do
Yeah,
fine.
no kidding. That's how I felt. Then it took a turn for the worse.
What do you mean it took a turn for the worse?
I remember
Well,
Kyle. I remember in lab, you had me help you, and like, I went to your computer, and I did not know what I
Oh,
was
God.
looking at.
well, it's also
It's
because
funny
you had
say
your
that.
stuff changed up and you did different, different portions of functions.
Yeah,
than I did.
you and I code very differently, and I when I
Well,
went
I
over
think,
to you.
Well,
well,
that's-
it was semi-working.
Oh,
Dude, we
yeah.
should talk about that. We should We should talk about how like much code varies because I have a good thing to say on that.
What's up?
So, so I had my lab today for the class, and kid next to me seems like a cool guy. He isn't the greatest at coding, which is fine because neither am I. But the first lab he was asking me a lot of questions, and like the first lab was just like debugging a program they gave us. That was pretty simple, and then
Manually.
he was asking me some questions today, and I didn't do the pre-lab, and I should have because I would have been done so fast if I did the pre-lab. Because this lab was honestly really easy, but he so he opens up his code. So like essentially, it was really just all you had to do was ask the person to input a number, and if it was negative, say no, input a positive number, and then if for the second number, if they input anything that's negative or if it's equal to 0. No. Well, I mean, kind of, but like, you just ask them to enter a second number, and when they enter the second number, if it's negative or 0, you have to say, hey, no, enter a positive number that isn't 0.
Yeah, that's what.
And then
that
enter
was
it.
the error checking.
And then, yeah, and then it just adds those numbers, subtracts the numbers, multiplies and divides, and you have to print all that out and list which, like, say, like, the sum of this and this is this, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and then you have to say which number is bigger. And, like, it was all, like, it took a little bit of time to write, but it was, like, pretty simple, easy code. Like, just a bunch of printfs, scanfs, and then 2 while loops will do the whole thing for you.
Yep.
And he had, like, this really complex, like, crazy code, and I was just like, dude. No, I mean, it wasn't that bad, but I was like...
Was it working?
No, it worked. Like, his code did work, but it was like, I mean, at one point he was stuck on something, he had to bring the TA over. And the TA was like, this is like a little overkill for what you would need to do. Well, I think he was just like...
It's like a roundabout way of doing what he needed to.
It was like way more work than you should have had to do. Like, it was so much, like, there's a way easier way to do it.
That throws a lot of people off, I think, when they start, because... I remember like, before I learned about like for loops and while loops, I didn't ever use them.
Yeah.
And after taking that class and I like knew how to use them, I know this sounds so stupid, but like I never used them ever, and they made my life so much easier.
Yeah, they did.
Like later on, even now in this game I'm making now, like I have.
Are you at functions yet, Luke?
Are we at what?
At functions yet? No, probably not.
What chapter is that in?
I don't fucking
It's like
know.
halfway through.
We're just starting chapter 5, yeah.
I think it's 6 or 7. You're getting close.
Well,
we're not there
you
yet.
You start with functions and then you start throwing arrays in that bitch.
I can't get a textbook, so I tried to go to get a textbook from the store, the Mizzou store, and
do you need one?
They're like, oh, we don't have it. Well, I want to get one because I think it'll help because he said they follow it pretty decently, and
I don't know, man.
Honestly, it's just nice to have another reference.
There's a lot of practice
I don't know.
in it.
I know, but I want to get it. Yeah,
anybody
like
actually using them though.
Just to see examples of code too.
I mean, I think it would be helpful, but I don't know, Luke. You're pretty computer minded already. I feel like.
Yeah, but I would like to get it.
I mean,
and I can't order it.
He just wants to get straight A's.
I don't blame you.
I do want A's in these classes, but especially with what my GPA was last semester, but not good.
We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. That's right. But I try to go to the guy's like, we can order the book for you. It'll be here in 3 to 5 business days. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, fine. And then I get an email today, and it's like, oh yeah, we can't order your book because the school doesn't sell it anymore.
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
I mean, I wasn't surprised. I was just like, this fucking blows. Like, what am I gonna like? I mean, I'm gonna go on Amazon or like Chegg or something and find it. But
Williams was saying like, that book it's made for both the class you're taking now and the class you're gonna take after it.
2050.
Yeah, so maybe they stopped selling it because it was just like some people don't take both of those classes.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, I'm gonna have to take both anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I actually might buy it for 2050. But
yeah, I'll definitely buy it because they go up the same.
When are you guys taking 2050?
Next semester.
He's taking it next semester. I'm probably going to take it either second semester or semester junior year.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I fully expect Luke to crush 1050. No doubt.
1050,
I
yeah.
feel like you're going to crush it easy. Just because you go with computers.
Maybe. But I'm not, we'll see. Depends on how, I mean, if I put in the work, I think I'll do okay at it. But I don't know if it's going to be that easy. I'm not good at, like, I don't know. Some of it
I'm
is
not good at
like,
thinking things on the spot. I usually have my dual screen action.
dude, it's so nice that the fact that the lab has dual screens is so
What
nice.
lab are you at?
Wait, what?
Oh, you guys didn't have
No.
that?
No.
We're in
We
a.
had it in
It's in
Strickland.
Naka.
Oh.
Oh, ours is in Naka,
Oh
dude. It
my
has dual
gosh.
screens. They're smaller screens, but like they're probably like 19-inch monitors, which is pretty tiny. But like,
That's not tiny.
That's not tiny.
yes, it is, dude. They might be smaller than that. Yeah, it is. Hold on, I got a tape measure here.
Dude, my laptop's 17.
Yeah, but that's a laptop. For
Our
a monitor,
screens were probably
they honestly
19
might.
in the lab we took it in, and
Yeah, but it was
there
one
was
screen.
one screen. Yeah.
It was
Honestly,
a pop-up.
Kyle, those screens might have been around 17, maybe a little more. Maybe I don't know. They were small boys, but having two was super nice.
All right, so, well, you sounded like you're gonna segue into something, Kyle. So you can do that if you like.
Yeah. I was actually going to. Summer travel. What are your guys' plans? What have you done already? What's going on, boys?
Well, I'm basically on. I can't leave the state of Missouri, so like,
Yeah, but you've already went somewhere, haven't you?
I went back home for a week. I mean, I have certain numbers of days I can leave, but now it's not even necessarily days that I can leave. It's that like with my work and school schedule, I really can't leave.
Okay, well,
Um,
let's talk about where you went and
I
what
went-
you did.
Yeah, I went back to Illinois for my sister's wedding.
Chicago.
Yep. So that was fun.
That was underwhelming.
Very in depth.
It was. I saw the new Han Solo movie too when I was there. I saw it twice. It was great.
One thing that we did, it's not technically summer travel, but it was basically a summer hangout sesh. All of our college friends came down, and hold on, my Discord, or not Discord, my Audacity's lagging. Okay, give me a hot second here. See if it CPU. God damn it! Oh, okay, there we go. Anyway,
That's why I have a second screen with Task Manager open at all times.
yeah, whatever. So everybody came down except for Luke. That was including Trey,
Yeah.
a friend of ours named Noah that lives about 50 minutes away, a friend of ours named Dylan that lives about an hour and a half away, and then another friend named Jacob, and then Trey came along, and we all had a nice time at our at my house.
Yeah.
We had a
little pizza, a little bit of a.
little pizza, a little drink, a little smoke. No, just kidding, no smoke. But a little drink, a little music, some good times. We had
Yeah.
a good time.
Yeah, it was cool.
And then you've just been working like a workhorse,
Yeah.
Trey. And then you go out with your girlfriend every now and then.
That's kind of my life right now. Yeah. So that I was gonna say about travel. I'm about to go to Florida in like a month, but
Are you?
yeah, about to go see my mom. But
Oh, that's cool.
I'm just gonna go to the beach, go to St. Augustine.
Just bring me with you.
I would, man.
I'm
If you can get a ticket.
just kidding. What, you taking the plane?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I was gonna say though about work. So I work in the pizza business, and I make pizza
That pie money.
and
The pie money.
the pie money that I like to flex on moms.
Yeah,
with.
man.
Moms don't want to see my
Damn.
manager.
Yeah, and So-
they go, I want to talk to the manager, and you're like, I
I
am the manager, baby.
I've been working.
They're like,
There's
oh.
a million things I could talk about with work. You know, working in the public, like working with the customers, right? But
Mhm.
but I want to talk about people that you work with, because of my job. You know, my job's easy, right? I make pizzas. That's my job, and it's easy. It's stupid easy. You have a chart that like tells you everything you need to know. All you gotta do is look up and then put the pizza together.
Yes, let's talk about your coworkers.
And-
the ones that are causing you to not be able to come do the podcast. Hence
No.
the reason why it's like 2 weeks late.
But yeah, like, okay,
Mm.
perfect example. All you gotta do is show up and make pizza, but people can't do it. And I just like, I have a lot of different things I could talk about on this, but I kind of want to hear you with you guys. I know, Luke, you've worked with customers probably a lot. You've had to deal with more like crazy customers and coworkers. And
Oh,
same
yeah.
for you, Kyle,
I got
with your umpires.
And
all
mine are
kinds of
less
stories
so
on crazy
customers.
customers.
So I just want to know, Like, what are some? And I'll talk about this more after you guys. But what are some like experiences that you worked with, like incompetent or just like ridiculous people that you've had to work with?
Okay. Um. So like,
But first state
probably
what
one.
you were.
Oh yeah. So I worked retail, sales at a Best Buy in the computers department. It's mostly laptops and the various accessories, but like really like printers, like desktops, pretty much anything from Apple tablets, like anything you'd find in
You were
there.
the Apple Master.
Um, I was the Apple Master, but I was more.
It's a cool
That
title.
didn't mean much. But well, I was That was only one of my. That was like a second title I had. My first title was computer sales consultant. But
Computer bitch.
yeah, the so the probably one of the worst interactions was the guy I'm working with. He was a cool guy. I would consider us friends. We go and ask this other, and this guy I worked with was awesome because he was one of the few people I could talk to about like space and like physics and stuff, and he would like get it. And
But
yeah, he was a big science nerd like I am, so it was great. Uh, and we go over and ask this guy like, "Ah, sir," or like this guy he was in our department, and he like looks like he's walking towards us. We're like, "Oh, sir, like, do you have any questions? You find everything all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got a question." And he's holding a monitor, and he goes, "Does this monitor have a USB port?" And um, and that's not the bad part, just as a fair warning. The bad part is we said, "No, sir," but and then before we can even finish what we're saying, this guy like straight up loses his shit. He just starts like flipping out. He's like, "What's so fucking dumb? Why would the blah, blah, blah," and starts swearing so much. And he's like, "How do they expect you to plug in a hard drive if you don't have a USB?" Blah, 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 like just getting so mad about this. And I'm like, we're like, what the fuck
That's
is
not
this
how
dude do?
any
Like
of
this
this
guy is
works.
exactly. And like what's more surprising than that is just how angry, like how infuriated this man is. Um, and he's like dressed like clearly was like some sort of businessman because he was dressed up in a nice
Oh
suit.
gosh.
yes.
And he's there with like what I presume to be one of his work buddies who's also wearing a nice suit. And this dude is like just freaking out, and we're like, whoa, like what are you trying to do? Blah, blah, blah. And like eventually we just give up because this dude will not stop flipping his shit. And when he leaves, we just look at each other and we're like, all right, this man, like, I don't even know, like, what he, like, he was just, it was ridiculous. It was like one of the most ridiculous things
It's
ever.
like, why do you have to be so mad about something that you really
Well,
don't
it's
know much
like,
about?
if he would have not reacted that way and let us finish our sentence, we could have um, figured out what he was trying to do and helped him get the right thing. But he didn't. Because that's the thing. Because there's a lot of times where people will not know what they're saying or they'll say the wrong thing, which is fine. It's just, it's pretty usually pretty easy to find out what you just say, hey, like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to connect to what? Like, what's going on? They explain it and you go, okay, you need this. Like, but every now and then you get, or like I had a guy once he was asking me questions about this laptop, and I would answer the questions, and I was answering the questions correctly. The problem was, the questions he was asking was not the questions he was meaning to be asking. So like he would say the wrong things and ask a question I'd answer, and he would get mad because that wasn't like the answer he was looking for, or like I wasn't answering the real question he had. But it's because he didn't know how to say the questions he had, and you tried to like. And then we had an HP rep there, it was an HP laptop, and he talked to him, and it was the same thing, and I just looked at the HP rep, and we just shake our head like,
I feel like
how are we supposed to help this man if he just doesn't know what he's trying to say, and he won't, like, try and, like, we're trying to help him think about, like, communicate back
customers
what
in
he's
tech
really trying
always
to
do
ask, and he
that. They
won't.
always do that.
Yeah.
Like whenever I worked in tech, it was like you would have a customer and they'd be like trying to get you to know that they know what they're talking about. And it's like, I don't care if you know what you're talking about. You have a problem. Let's just fix it. You know what I mean? Like, tell me what's
Yeah.
happening that is making you upset. And like that's it.
Yeah.
That's all we need to do. Yeah, that would drive me crazy.
Okay, my job. I don't deal with customers. I deal with coaches, parents, and
Oh
kids.
gosh.
Yeah.
I'm an umpire. You know,
Umpiring's
like a
fun.
referee for baseball.
To a degree.
And I work the plate, I call balls and strikes. I work the field. I call safes and outs, obstructions, interferences. And with it being hot out, it tends to get a little heated, no pun intended, with everybody. Everybody's on edge because it's fucking hot out. Everybody just needs to cool off, keep their cool, have a nice ball game, and not treat your 8-year-olds like they're a bunch of motherfucking MLB players. And
Well, yeah.
so I sit out here, I try to live my best life, trying to live the dream, trying to make some dough, have a good governing of the field. And these motherfucking coaches, man, these coaches and their fans, especially when they're sitting right behind the plate, think that a strike or a ball is their call. It's not. And especially coaches from the first base line or the third base line, if I would call, or especially from the bench or the stands, if my job was so goddamn easy, I would call balls and strikes from the stands. But I can't do
It's
that.
like why you're there.
It's the reason why you sit behind the plate.
Exactly. So, I've been upping this one guy. Ever since he was in his 8-year-old ball players, and I've basically moved up the ranks as he moved up the ranks, and he's just one of the most disrespectful people. Out of all of the coaches that I've ever met, I do not respect this as a man. He's a short,
Wow.
fat person, and he, not saying fat's a bad thing, but still, he's a pompous douchebag, and so's his kids. His little kids that play aren't as bad. They haven't said anything to me, but he has this one little shit who's a little bit older than I am, who played college ball, so he thinks he's the fucking greatest. And
I would let him know
here's
all
a
the
nice
time.
here's a
You ain't
nice little
shit.
story I gotta tell. So, do you guys know what the slide rule is?
Mm-mm.
At least
For
Luke,
where?
do you know what the slide rule is for home plate,
Yeah.
or any base for that matter?
You gotta slide.
If
If it's clear to be close, you gotta slide. You have to.
It's not necessarily true, but if the player,
so you don't-
say the catcher has the ball, and
You can't
you
just take out the catcher.
Exactly. If the catcher has the ball, you either slide to try and make it under the tag, or you give yourself up. You do not plow into the fucking catcher.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't pull a Pete Rose. Pete Rose did that at an All-Star game and injured the catcher, and everyone was pissed about it because they're like, that was extremely unnecessary for you to just just demolish this catcher and hurt him over a game that doesn't matter. Because this was
But with
even
that-
before the All-Star game was about who gets the Game 7 home game for the World Series, so an extra double didn't matter.
Yeah. Okay, so the story is this. The scenario is this. Kid plows the catcher, drops his shoulder, so it's clearly malicious. I had to call the kid out, or I had to eject the kid out of the game, because that's just our rules. You don't
Yeah.
do that. And this little shit of a son, the college, quote-unquote college ball player who knows everything, he's talking to me behind the fence. He goes, "What else is he supposed to do, Blue? What else is he supposed to do?" And I calmly
I
tell
would
him,
have turned around and been like,
no,
sir,
I-
you can
I
shut the
talked
fuck
to
up
him.
or get out.
I said, "Hey, the rule is you either slide or give yourself up. No question. He's not supposed to plow the catcher." And then he just keeps yelling at me, "Oh, that's a bad rule," or blah blah blah. That's not the rule.
I said, hey, college ball boy, if you're so smart and you played so much baseball and you're so good at it, you should have known that.
But anyway,
Why are you here?
that's one scenario.
Yeah.
Then another one, I used to play baseball myself, and I had a kid, not gonna name names, but he was on my team, and his dad back then was just a belligerent asshole who just drank in the stands and yelled at his kids. Well, I had the great pleasure of eventually umpiring his younger kid when he was down at my ball fields, and he was still the same fan. So I stopped the game, and I told the coach, and I told him to be quiet. And you want to know how sad this story is? His kid was pitching, and when the inning ended, the kid thanked me.
Oh,
He thanked me
that's
for
so
telling his
sad.
kid to tell his dad to shut up.
That sucks.
And
man.
then that same father became the coach of the team. Then he became a thorn in my fucking side for the next 2 years.
When I umpired, I would catch coaches trying to cheat so much, like ridiculous.
Like, how important
Um,
is it that your kids win a
It's
game?
not. It's
People
not even
used to,
it's not even like a winning the game thing. It's just like just a rule thing. Just shut the fuck up and let them play baseball.
Right. They just want to have
Yeah,
fun.
it's little kids. Dude, guys would take it so seriously. And like I said, dude, I would catch coaches trying to cheat all the time. And my dad was, uh, coached like a million different teams, and was commissioner of a few different leagues at different points,
Mm-hmm.
and all the time. And he wasn't the only one who would catch other coaches trying to cheat. They would put, um, there are different balls that are different hardness for different
Different
age groups. So like younger kids have really squishy balls.
Whoa.
Okay,
whoa.
that sounded really bad. The baseballs. All right. Let me rephrase that. The younger age
T-balls
group
had
uses
soft
a ball.
balls.
Yeah, they're very. If you pick one up, it's very squishy because that way it won't go as far and it won't come off the bat as hard. So if a kid's not paying attention and he gets hit, it's not gonna like fucking kill him. Or not kill him, but not gonna
gonna
fuck
mess
his
him
face
up,
up.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And so they would like try and swap out those so that when their other team was up to bat, the ball wouldn't go as far. Or there's some that are like coated, like they're like coated in like a plasticky type thing. It's a similar
No
concept.
way.
And they would switch these out. Like they would try and switch out the baseball, and it's like, hold on, let me look at that ball. And they're like, this isn't the right ball. And he's like, oh no, yeah, no, it should be. No, this definitely is not one of our balls because we brand them with, or there's a logo on it that says the league it's supposed to be in before you get them. And he's like, no, yeah, that should be right. And I'm like, you fucking guy, like this fucking guy, like he would do it all the time, and it was like just ridiculous how like what people would do to try and win, like, but like it was just like, how can, like, why are you like this? Or they try and make their kids pitch more than they were supposed to, and it's like,
You're just
dude,
gonna fuck up
come
his
on.
arm.
It's little league, man. Like, chill.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I've never seen that before. We come out with our own balls, and then we never use anybody else's. Nobody throws them out. I mean, they have the ones to warm up with, which is their balls, but we supply the game balls, so there's no reason
Yeah.
to switch them out. And you could tell which ones are used and which ones are ours.
Yeah.
Ours
Well,
come
what's
out
supposed to
shiny,
happen for us?
wrapping, and they're all
Yeah,
white.
ours are straight out of the wrapper. But what's supposed to happen is at the beginning of the game, each coach provides 2 baseballs for the umpire. And so
See, that's where you guys went wrong.
No, and that's where we check them. So they give them to the umpire, we check them, we hold on to them, and then we give one to whoever's pitching. And then what's supposed to happen is it just gets left out there, and then at like the mound. And so what people would do, and this is why like sometimes you wouldn't catch it, but sometimes you would right away. The kid would leave with the ball, and they'd go out with another one, or they'd go out with another one, and then they would like throw that ball over to someone else on their team who would throw it in. It was like, or if they were, if the coach like came out to talk to the kid during the middle of the inning or something like that, you know, like they would get real
That's
sneaky
fucking
about it.
stupid.
It
I've
was
never seen that.
It was ridiculous how like how far these people would
Gotta
go.
win those little league games, man. It's important.
And I was like, well, and like some of these, now most levels do have like winners at the end where they do have like the playoffs and all that, but like some of the really young ones did not.
So it didn't even matter.
Or like, yeah, and there was because there's some leagues that were only coach pitch, and some of the coaches would like try to throw extra pitches to the kid because it was, you got 6 pitches from the coach, and if you didn't get on, you know, if you couldn't get a hit, you didn't get a hit, and you were out. Like, that was it. just to keep the game moving.
Right.
And he was like, there's a coach who used to try and throw extras, and he'd be like, come on, this kid hasn't gotten a hit this game. And I'm like, well, that's not. I don't care. He's out. Like, you don't just throw like 8 pitches to this
Poor
kid.
kid. I mean, like 6. Can't hit it.
6
That
is a
sounds like
lot,
me
dude.
When I was a kid. When I was a young kid.
Oh yeah.
I was not athletic. I was gonna. So, I was gonna talk about pizza people being incompetent. I was trying to think of a couple stories. One that really sticks out is very short. Basically, I was working with one of my managers, and we were talking about this lady that didn't show up for work, which is why I had to stay late the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that this lady was weird, and she just said weird things. Well, like, we have to watch these videos for the company I work for, and they're like, training videos, like mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she was watching it, and like, you have to take a quiz at the end, and she couldn't pass it. And she's like, I swear this computer must not like me. It's like I've got electric flowing out of my body or something.
What the hell? Was she
That's
high on meth?
not how any of this works.
It's like there's so much wrong. Like, not even from just a technical standpoint, just from the fact that she said that. Just those words alone. There must be electric radiating from my body.
Yeah, that's not
That's
how
some
this
crack
works.
thoughts.
Yeah.
That's not how any of this works. Like, not even a little bit.
I had a girl there's a girl that works there that she's crazy. She's not the same girl. And she's very bad at her job. She's been working there for like a year. Very slow.
That's unfortunate because no offense, but I feel like it's pretty straightforward.
It's extremely straightforward. It is one of the
You
easiest
just make
jobs.
fucking pizzas.
Like, it's a very easy
You
job.
get the order and you make the pizza
Yeah.
and then you send it out.
So, she's very slow, and she's crazy. Like, she talks in like an anime voice,
No.
and she
Oh,
the
God.
first thing she said to me was like, "Hi, I hate my dad." I'm just like, I'm just like, whoa.
Wow, okay.
I don't know you.
Nice to meet you
She
too.
ended it with
Like,
the RAR XD.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know you. Like, why are you talking to me about such serious
Talk
things?
about
Did she
how
call
you
you
hate your
senpai?
dad. Like,
She might as well. Like, it's really high pitched, and it's like, she'll scream just out of nowhere, and like,
Next,
and she probably
next thing
goes
you
out of her
know-
way to
do you
talk like
guys-
that. There are people who will.
You guys have pizza slicers. Next thing you know, she's gonna be in the back yelling, "Hetty Kitty!" and
Yeah,
then
it
trying to
just-
kill herself with a pizza
impaling
slicer.
herself. Yeah, it's. Oh,
Guys, I'm gonna go commit Sudoku.
I wish
Correct.
y'all could meet
Sudoku.
this lady, but
What is her name?
I don't know if I should.
What does she call
Probably shouldn't
herself?
say it.
Better yet.
Oh, she calls herself by her regular name. This is a normal name, but like,
Oh, what's her name?
like Lily.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's it?
Yeah, nothing weird.
I would have expected like Naruto, or
Naruto,
something.
Yuri. And then
Naruto.
Yuri.
Yeah.
Whatever that girl who hung herself in that game's name
Oh
was.
no, no.
All right.
In DDLC,
Yeah.
what was the girl's
Doki
name?
Doki Literature Club. It's Sayori.
No, what's the girl's name? I know the game.
Did we not?
Not
Did we
Sayori,
talk
that's
about
what it
Doki
is.
Doki before? I think we talked about that before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
think you
did.
did, and I still will not play it. There's nothing you can
Why
do to
not?
make me
That
play
game's
it.
so good.
I don't know, Kyle. Why don't you play Firewatch?
I mean, it's because I don't want to buy the game. Doki Doki's free.
That's not why you won't play it.
That's true, but I don't really care about it anymore. I just don't want to play the game. It doesn't look very good to me.
It is so good.
Anyway,
Anyway, you want to upload? Should we upload our souls to the cloud? Let's do it.
again, I don't think that's possible.
That's what you think.
You guys have any fears?
Oh, lots of fears.
But okay,
Yeah.
Trey, what do you fear?
What do I fear? Well, this is gonna sound specific. I read
It's
this.
gonna sound very Pacific.
Giant spider.
I read this. I like creepy pastas a lot. Stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
go to sleep.
And I read this thing the other night. It was like a Twitter thing, like called like Dear David or something like that.
Is that what you want? Make a Twitter?
No, no, I have a lot of reasons for that, but like, I was reading this story the other night. I'll get into that after this, but and it was like a creepypasta, right? It was this guy like updating about this like ghost thing that was like haunting him. It was fake.
Yeah, it's a story.
But
It's a creepypasta.
but he posted these pictures with it,
Plus,
and like
ghosts
the
aren't
story
real.
like really was sucking me in pretty bad. So the last 3 nights I've slept with the lights on.
Oh,
Like
no.
full disclosure.
Dang it.
Disclosure.
Dang it,
I've slept
Trey.
with the lights on the last 3 nights because I've just been scared. And
Oof.
I don't scare easy. I don't know what it is about this story. It just really freaked me the fuck out.
It was about Twitter?
No, it wasn't about Twitter. It was on Twitter.
It was on Twitter.
It's like a thread this guy posted, and it was fucking scary. Like it just really spooked me. I could put it in the Discord if you want to read it.
Maybe in a little bit.
Delaney sent it to me though, and I was just like, I told her I was like, I have not slept with the lights off in like 3 nights because of that story.
How'd
Come
she
on,
feel
Trey,
about
you gotta be a man.
her
You
boyfriend?
gotta
being such a
challenge
little
these
bitch?
ghosts,
Yeah,
man.
no.
You gotta say, if there are any ghosts here, I challenge you to try and kill me in my sleep.
Why the fuck would I say that?
Eat my
Because
ass.
they ain't real and they ain't gonna do nothing about it.
No.
It's like
We don't
when
need-
Conor
we
McGregor's
don't
like,
need to go down
do
that rabbit
fucking
hole."
nothing. You do fucking nothing.
So that's my biggest fear right now is Dear David. It's been keeping me up.
Do you have any like regular fears that make
Yeah.
more sense?
I am deathly afraid of needles.
Ah.
Deathly
Really?
afraid. I cannot get my blood drawn without like damn near passing out or getting a shot.
I mean, okay, so
even.
like needles for me, like shots and stuff. Like I'm not like I don't really have a problem with them. Like going up to it, I'm like I psych myself out a little bit. But if I have to get multiple, like after the first one, I'm totally fine.
No, I like
Yeah.
last time I got a shot, I did the opposite of psyching myself out. I was like, "You got this! Like it's just a needle. You're so much bigger than that tiny little thing." And then I almost passed out. Like I literally almost passed out.
I think it's just the thought of it. Like I don't know, like especially like flu shots are nothing, man.
Ugh.
Like certain shots suck. Like when I got my meningitis shot.
Tetanus shots suck.
Tetanus shots suck because the needle's big. Meningitis shots suck because they have to go like right down,
Into the bone.
like in between your shoulder.
But that one
pretty
didn't
much.
even like. I got that and it didn't hurt. It was just it. I almost passed out.
That one didn't. Well, that one didn't hurt for me, but my shoulder was sore later on. I mean, plus there's other like I happened to be like I threw a lot, that within like a similar time frame,
Mm-hmm.
like baseball wise, I threw a lot, so I think that made it worse.
No, I don't
But,
mean like
like-
pain wise though. I just mean like I just passed
Spooked you?
out. Like I don't know why. I was driving
It's
home.
just a subconscious thing.
Yeah, I was driving home and I was with my girlfriend at the time. Her mom was with me, and I was like, "Can you take the wheel? Like I'm gonna pass out." Like and I pulled over and she drove. Like, it was
Dang.
horrible. I was 16. Like I was not young, not that young, you know.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Well, I mean, up to the getting like if I have to get like shots in rapid succession, like at one time I had to get like 4 shots, and then I got the first one, and I was psyching myself out for that, and then it hurt, but it didn't hurt as bad as I kept thinking about. So then I took the other ones like a man.
Like a man.
Then
Yeah.
but I remember when
After
I was
the
like
first one, it's nothing, man.
But I remember when I was like 5 and I got a tetanus shot, and you know how that goes like directly into the muscle?
Yeah.
Well, it made my
Yeah.
fucking arm numb for like 3 days.
Oh.
It was like a noodle.
Just
It was like
horrible.
a nice noodle.
I've heard that rabies shots are really bad.
Well, good thing I don't have rabies.
Yeah.
My mom got shots when she had cancer. WASD shots is what they were called. And she said those hurt like a motherfucker.
I'm sure. I mean,
They-
like certain ones
they
do,
cost,
depending
like,
on where they are.
$2,000 a pop too. Good.
What did those do?
I don't remember. Something to help cure or kill the cancer or whatever. There might have been an immune booster. I don't know off the top of my head. Cause,
I'm sure there's like a million different things they got to do.
yeah. Well, I mean that was back, what, not the early 2000s, but like before
Mid
the-
2000s maybe.
Yeah, before the 2010s. And I was like 4th grade. So
That'd have been like 2008,
Probably.
2009,
maybe something like that.
2008, 2009. That was that. That was the year.
Yeah. Well.
What
yeah.
You on the topic of fears still? What you got any fears, Kyle?
Not really. I mean, I'm pretty much an emotionless person.
Emotionless.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd say I got
I'm
some. I
a
mean,
cold person.
like,
Not cold, but I'm
You
like
fearless.
when my grandma. I'm not fearless, but I'm not. I just can't think of any off the top of my head. Dying in RuneScape is about as hard as I can
Dang,
think about.
RuneScape.
But yeah, like the wilderness getting player killed. That's about it. No, I mean I have a fear of heights, and then for some reason when you're high up, you want to jump for some reason.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Vertigo, Vertigon.
Yeah, I mean not to like kill yourself, but you're like kind of just want to
No,
hop off.
that's actually what's funny is that's a thing called l'appel de void, I think is how you say it. It's a French term that means the call of the void. It's when for like a split second you think about jumping off like a high point when you're there, or like swerving your car into traffic, or like just something crazy like that, and like you know deep down you would never do it, but like the thought will cross your mind.
Well, one time I was at
Uh,
some Florida condos in Panama City, and we were about 200 feet up, 200, 200 feet, but yeah, 200
mhm.
feet up, and there was a pool down below. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, how cool would it be if I jumped off and landed it in that pool? And the pool was
If you
like
didn't
That's
land
it.
right, you would probably
5 feet
die. Even if you
deep.
did land right, you'd probably die. No, not
I
even
don't
even if it
think.
was deep enough, Kyle. The
Oh,
water
it
would
turns into
be.
concrete. I know.
I don't think this is an
I
intrusive
mean,
thought
it doesn't,
so much
but
as it is
It
like
turns
it
into
still is very hard.
the surface area stretches it stretches the molecules when you hit it to the point where it's like as hard as
When you
concrete.
hit it that
You should have
fast,
fucking done it.
it's.
You should have just done it.
Then I would
No.
not be talking
Sure
to
you
you
would.
today.
You would have done a dive.
I don't.
It would've been
I
cool.
don't. I wouldn't say I'm afraid of heights.
You guys would have been
I don't
very
know.
wary of me because I would have been rolling around in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't have made friends with me if I talked with a robotic voice.
Kyle, I'd like you better as a vegetable.
Oh no.
Talk with grunts.
I would say I'm not necessarily afraid of the heights, but like falling spooks me now. It didn't like nothing about heights ever used to freak me out. I've always loved climbing stuff, like rock climbing's super fun. High ropes courses are great. And my high school had one. And then one day, my buddy is belaying me down from one of these high ropes courses, and so he's just letting me down. And like I'm in a sitting position in the harness, and my feet are about 8 feet off the ground, like the bottom of my feet from the sitting position, and he like goes just to drop me a little bit to freak me out, but he accidentally it slips and I hit the floor.
Oof.
Scarred for life.
Like hard, not enough, like not hard enough to hurt me, but like hard enough to like hurt pretty bad. Like my body was definitely sore for like the next week, but yeah, dude, it freaked me out so much. Like there is nothing more terrifying than just free falling like that when like you know you're not supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it like
Yeah.
and like I would go up in the courses still again, and I would be totally fine on the way up, and I'd be totally fine going in there to like just chilling, just going out like doing all kinds of crazy shit. Because if you fall, you have the harness that catches you. But then every time I went down, like it spooked me, man. And it was
What are
just like
these?
I was afraid of getting dropped.
What courses?
And then high ropes courses. Yeah. So like different just stuff like way up high.
That sounds really cool.
Well, and then here's the thing. After about a week and a half or two, I got over that, because I was like, that's not gonna happen again. You know,
That's
it's
dope.
not.
It's like an agility training.
Yeah, dude, they're super fun.
Never seen
But
that
no,
before.
and then I got dropped again, and this time it was even worse. So we had 3 courses. This was the 3rd one. This one wasn't like a normal one where there's an entry point and then you go and do the stuff up top. This one, there's 2 of them, and they're both just straight up. And one of them was like a race, and so you could race the person next to you. So I was doing that one, and I get to the top, and there's 3 sections. The ceiling is probably about 30 feet up, and every 10 feet there's a like 2x4 that is what connects all the stuff that's on this, because every 10 feet it changes what like the thing is you have to climb. And so I'm up at the top, and I'm like going to go down, and this girl's belaying me, and she's like, okay, you can let go, because I like you do the things to let them know you're gonna come down, and they're like, okay, you're good. And I'm like, I'm looking down, and I'm like, I don't know if she's like holding that right, or I feel like there's too much slack on the rope, like I don't know if I should let go. And I was like, you know what, it's probably fine. and I let go, and she straight up like the rope immediately get yanked out of her hand, and I fell all the way to the last wooden, like the last 2x4, so I fell 20 feet.
Jeez.
And the only reason I stopped is because I stuck my leg out and I hit the course. And when I stuck my leg out and hit the course, it slowed me down enough that she was able to pull down and actually brake. And like that freaked me out so much for so long. And like I knew she felt really bad about it, so I didn't like give her any shit for it, because I like, what's that gonna do? That's not gonna help
Right.
anything. And I was just like, all right, like I'm not gonna say anything about what just happened, but like I was like, you're not allowed to belay anybody ever again. Like, okay, like, and I was like you seriously can't, because if I didn't stick my leg out, like I would have seriously, like the way I would have landed, I probably would have broken my right arm, right leg, potentially hip and shoulder. Because I mean it was like 30 feet up, like that's a far
Right.
fall,
It's on
and
just like the ground, or
you know,
what's under you?
and it's not, yeah, just like a gym floor.
Damn.
Like a hardwood basketball court. And so, and I was surprised it didn't hurt my left leg, because that's what I stuck out and hit the course with. I mean, like it hurt when I did it and it bruised my leg, but it didn't like cause any real damage to it.
The adrenaline.
But like after that, like it super freaked me out, man. Like I don't know. It was like, because again, just free falling when you especially know you shouldn't be, is just terrifying, because you have like, you feel like you have no control over what's happening, and that's the real problem. Is like you just go and you're like, oh. And like I still have no problem with going up and doing the courses, like that doesn't scare me at all. But on the way down, I'm always just like,
Shouldn't there be an easy way of doing that?
Don't drive me. Oh, but my other fear I actually tweeted about yesterday, which is funny.
What's that?
The tweet was, so I said I talk a lot. And I said I talk a lot because I'd rather say something and regret what I said than regret what I never said. And then I said I have an irrational fear of not saying enough, or things I wish I had. Because there have been times and situations where it's like, there are things I wish I could have said and I never did, and I lost that opportunity, and I will never be able to
go back.
And like I'll never get over that.
Yeah.
You know?
So that was funny? That's not funny. That's real.
I didn't say it was funny. I said it was funny that I tweeted about it.
I was gonna
last
say that's
night.
not funny.
Yeah.
No.
I was like waiting for a punchline.
No, yeah.
It's cool.
Okay.
But like, I don't know, especially the last like 4 or 5 years.
Okay. Anybody have any more ideas?
I was wanting to. We talked about this a bit about this outside of podcast, but fake difficulty in video games. I gotta bring it back up because it bothers me a lot.
Fake difficulty?
Fake difficulty and like in hand holding.
What do you mean?
No.
So I'll start with fake difficulty just to kind of clarify.
What the fuck is fake difficulty?
So games do this thing because in the game market it's very important to have either replayability or like a long like storyline, or a long like you want hours to your game, right? So
yeah, because if you beat a game really quickly, it's like, this is a waste of money. I just beat this game in an hour and it was
refund.
Right.
Like,
so what games will do is like they'll add like filler content, like simple puzzles that just are time consuming and like not fun. So an example of this that was really pissing me off the other day is I have this game is Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, which is like part of the Superstar Saga. If you've ever played that,
yeah,
highly recommend it. This new game, you know, it's a lot like the other ones, and there's Paper Mario in there. Like I love that. But there's a big part of the game where like you just go around and you're timed and you have to find like toads, like hidden toads. And
yeah,
it's like stupid. It's fake difficulty. You have to. You waste your time searching.
You talk about filler, yeah.
It's filler content. And it's like the timer. It was just added difficulty that didn't. it didn't feel good when I was done. I was just like, okay, like I wasted my time looking around the map.
Mm-hmm.
Like accomplishment games should feel good. It's like, oh, I beat
Yeah.
the boss. Like I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, like a real challenge, not like, hey, do this thing so our game's longer.
Right, and there's better examples for fake difficulty than that. Like time limits always fall into that. Like, is this really more difficult, or is it just like?
Just because it's time
Right.
constraint is what makes
Not
it hard.
to say that all
yeah.
time
Doom
constraints are
did
bad,
that.
but like,
Doom 2016 did that with a lot of the like hidden challenges that you can find. They added like pretty hard time constraints, making them really difficult to do.
right, but is that much harder? Or?
Some of them were, cause like, and I mean like they kind of had to be time constricted, because a lot of them were like kill this many things or like get this many points, and like these different demons will give you different points depending on which ones you kill, and if you do glory kills you get more points, or like if you kill certain things it adds more time.
Well,
Sorry.
you could argue that's
But,
like, that adds to game feel, which is fine.
Yeah, but some of the time constrictions were like, they should have given you like 10 more seconds and you would have beaten.
Right, exactly.
Like a lot easier. You know, like they didn't need to make it that short. They made it that short so you would fail like a couple
And you'd
times.
say, "Oh, that was hard," when it's like, was it really hard, or was it just like?
Was it really hard, or was it just hard because I didn't
Right.
have enough time?
We could talk about games that didn't have fake difficulty, but like games that were actually difficult back then. Like even in like the early 2000s, I played a game called Blinks the Time Sweeper, and a lot of people don't know about it. But that game, you'd basically you'd be a cat, like a cat that controlled time, and it sounds very underwhelming at the time right now.
No, it sounds cool.
But that game's so dope. But so you take this like vacuum, like time control vacuum thing. You suck up trash, you fight monsters and shit. Then there's like 3 different stages. You get through them all. You gotta collect all the things that are in there in order to open up the time warp gate or whatever it is. And then the last stage was the boss stage. And some of them were okay. They all had unique monster designs and stuff like that. But damn, were those motherfuckers difficult. And like, I never got through the game because it was so hard. It was such a hard game, and that's how games should be, just like they were, just like they were back then.
Well, I think that reminds me of like a lot about Dark Souls, where it's like it's like a hard game, right? And I love Dark Souls, one of my favorite games ever. Like 1 and 3, I didn't like 2 very much, but like Dark Souls, like I think the fake difficulty thing. Sometimes Dark Souls has an issue with that too, where it's like you'll die somewhere just because you didn't know that there's an enemy around the corner. You know, and it's like oh. Like, there's literally a part in Dark Souls 1 where, I think it's in the Catacombs, or it's in the King's Tomb or something like that, where it's like, I think that's what it's called, or Tomb of Giants, and you're like running along this like ledge, and then a giant skeleton just fucking kicks you off the side, from nowhere, and like yeah, I would have caught that if I was walking slower, but like, and it never really got me, but I feel like if I died to that. Like, I don't know. Is it really more difficult, or is it just that I was ignorant of an enemy being there? I don't know. You know, there's a lot of people that disagree about fake difficulty because it's hard to qualify something like that. But like, I just feel like a lot of games do that, especially to add time to the game.
Oh, you know what we could talk about?
What's that?
What?
E3 just happened.
Yeah, I had that as one
New
of the things.
games.
Did.
New games.
E3.
Let's hear it, boys.
Oh,
Fallout 76, which is supposed to be like a prequel to all the other ones. It's supposed to be like 20 years after the Great War.
It's not supposed to be really associated with any of the main storylines.
well, none of them are really associated.
Yeah, none
But,
of
like,
them are associated together.
What my understanding is, I mean, I haven't played any of the Fallout games, but I know the general, like, I know the gist of them. And this is just like things I've overheard from other people that I work with who are really into the Fallout games. And I heard one person be like, essentially what they're doing is they're making you the raiders.
Kind of.
Kind of. No, you're like the first. You're the first people out on. It's like boots on the ground. It's like the first people out.
So a bit of like for Fallout, a bit of background, like the vaults in Fallout. This is kind of a huge spoiler if you don't play Fallout, but
It's a big. Well, I mean, it's all part of the backstory, so it's not a big spoiler.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're right. But the vaults are all, you got hundreds of vaults that Vault Tech put around America. I think it's just America.
Well, the whole thing's only based in America, so yeah.
Yeah, and basically every vault, to the people that are in them, they signed up through Vault Tech before the war, or before the Fallout, and they thought it would just be a shelter. But each vault is actually an experiment on the people in it. So like, Vault
101.
Yeah, Vault 101 was in Fallout 3.
Yeah.
And I think that vault was like not supposed to have enough supplies or something like that. And like there's a vault where it's like, I could be totally wrong about Vault 101, by the way. I haven't played Fallout 3 in a long time. But there's another vault where it's like one guy and like 900 girls. There's a vault with like one guy and like a bunch of puppies. Vault 111 in Fallout 4 is the cryogenic sleep vault. And Vault 76 is the control group. So it's just a regular vault with people who are meant to rebuild.
Like original bomb shelter. Yeah, original bomb shelter, essentially.
And they're meant to rebuild America.
I never played New Vegas, so I don't know anything about that one.
New Vegas isn't from a vault. You're a courier. I think it takes place later than any of the games, actually. But New Vegas is awesome. I recommend that game if you like Fallout.
I've heard it.
Great game.
But yeah, there's that. Yeah, essentially, in order to not give away the whole idea about Vault 111 and Fallout 4, not going to talk more about it.
Yeah.
Because that's a big plot point.
Well, we're coming near on our time thing anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to keep it time constraint to exactly 1 hour, do we? I know you have to go to bed,
No.
but
I mean, it's
No, that's not what I meant. But real quick though, like when you guys replay a game, what do you like to do? Like, so what I typically do is if there's like stuff I missed in the other one, I'll try and get that. But like my biggest thing is anytime I ever replay a game, I always play it on the next hardest difficulty.
you're a madman.
And then, so like Uncharted 4 is a good example of this because I've replayed that game a few times. So like, I always, whenever I first play a game, I always start out on normal. And then, because I'm like, if I play on easy, I'm a bitch, which is not necessarily true, but like, I just like to play on normal settings because that just seems like what would make sense. And I'm not the greatest at games, but I'm good enough. And then, Uncharted 4, I play the normal difficulty. And then I play the next hardest difficulty, which towards the end, because the game is like progressively gets harder. Like, well, really just like the end game is like a lot harder, but I get there and it was like pretty hard for me to get through. And then now I'm playing it again, and this is on the hardest difficulty called Crushing. And so one of the game mechanics on Uncharted 4 is you can, there's a lot of scenes that are like, you can choose to be stealthy or choose not to be stealthy, but like sometimes you like really just have to be stealthy and try and get a lot of stealth kills to take out people, because when you start shooting at people, more people come and it's just harder to do. And so what I would do, because what you can do is you can like tag somebody if you look at them and you hit like a certain button, and then there's just like a little arrow that's above their head and you can see it through walls and stuff, so you can like kind of be careful of where you're gonna go. But in the heart, and I use that a lot in my second playthrough where I was on the middle difficulty, like the one just above normal. And it's like you're not allowed to use it in crushing mode. So it's like certain parts are really hard because of that. Because you can't see your enemies and you always get like spotted, and then they start shooting at you, and then you gotta try and find cover, and there's like a bunch of them, and it like, I don't know, it gets pretty hard. I haven't been able to beat the crushing mode on that game yet, and I haven't like played it in a while, but I just get stuck in spots.
You want to talk about hard games as you up the difficulty? Halo. Halo was so fucking hard when you started upping the difficulty. Like, I started out on normal, got through the campaign. Heroic, okay, it's a little harder. Then I try legendary. In like 2 shots, you're fucking dead. It's
Yeah.
almost impossible. And
Yeah, it's the other thing with crushing mode. You die really quickly in Uncharted.
yeah, stuff like that is just garbage. It's hard.
I still think that like faster than light, the game FTL faster than light is really hard, even on easy. Like you basically have to play that game on easy, and it is like still super hard.
How about,
Great game, like awesome, but super hard.
which one of you boys play Elder Scrolls?
I played Skyrim.
No,
But that's it.
did not play any of them.
That's unfortunate that you haven't played any Bethesda games, Luke. I feel like you'd be really into
I have
them.
played plenty of Bethesda games, just not those. I played Doom, I played Prey, I played insert other Bethesda game that isn't Fallout or Skyrim.
Well, yeah. Well, they're making a new Elder Scrolls game. Don't know what it's going
I like
to be,
Bethesda.
Yeah, it's.
but
Is there any like speculation other than just like, oh, they haven't
Um,
made this yet?
probably Hammerfell.
That's what I've heard. Because it's
Yeah,
because
the,
of the size,
the red
right?
guards, because that, and I think they might be battling the Thalmor.
Oh wow.
That might happen. Those elves.
I don't
the
want a
Dark
dang
Elves.
Hammerfell. I want Elsewhere or whatever. Was it? Is it just Argonia or something like that?
Yeah, Argonia.
What's your what's like your guys' like favorite kind of like style of game? Like genre, I should say, I guess would be the correct terminology I'm looking for.
I like
Um,
easy games.
that's the reason why you play on the 3DS.
Oh yeah. I like
Um,
Stardew Valley, that type of game. I got really addicted to Stardew recently. It's like a slice of life, farming, just like life sim game, kind of like Animal Crossing. But
Yeah.
See,
I really like,
I jump around between game styles, because one time I'll really be into MMOs like World of Warcraft or RuneScape, and then I'll be into some shooters for a while, some Halo, maybe skim a little bit of Call of Duty. I never really liked Call of Duty all that much. My brother played it. I played Halo. RPGs like Pokemon, and then other games made in RPG Maker.
I like turn-based
Um,
RPGs a lot.
Yeah, turn-based games are a lot of fun.
I like me a MOBA or two sometimes.
I really like shooters primarily, but I really like really story heavy like first person, third person games.
Yeah.
You know, like that's why like the Uncharted series is so good, because it's just has like a crazy good storyline in like all the games, third person shooter.
I feel like you'd like Skyrim.
Or like, I probably would. I just never really got around to playing it. I mean, to be fair, like when I got into gaming, it was like the game had been out for a while.
Yeah, but it holds up really well.
Yeah.
No, I know. I really like
Even Oblivion.
I really,
holds
dude,
up
I
really
like
well.
Bioshock. Bioshock's probably my favorite game
That's a good
series.
game series, yeah. Bioshock.
Mass Effect.
Like this again, the story was super good. Mass Effect, was playing the first one and then I lost my game save, so I haven't really played it since then, because I was like, man, Nick is always trying to get me to play Mass Effect, because Mass Effect's like his favorite game series, but ever since I lost my game save on the first one, I'm just kind of been like, kind of dreading having to play like through another like 12 hours of what I already had. Like,
Yeah. I have a game that I really want to play that's very story driven and based on the things that you pick really changes the way the characters act and how the story goes.
yeah,
But I can't play it because it's not on PC nor is it on Xbox. It's exclusively for PS. And that's good for you.
What is it? Detroit Become Human?
Yep. That game
There's,
looks delicious.
Yeah.
If
You know
that's
what I
one way
really
to put
like
it.
too? And this is gonna sound like kind of cliche. I really like there's a lot of cool, like, good indie games out there.
Doki Doki Literature Club.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, I mean, this is it makes sense that I would like these kind of things, but I really like, there's a lot of, like, really good space games out there, like, story-driven space games, like Spirits of Xanadu, and, like, some of them aren't real long. Like, Spirits of Xanadu was 2 hours, near done, but that was really good.
What was the one that you were doing while we were at college? The one that you were playing.
That was
before we left?
Tacoma.
Yeah,
That
Tacoma.
game was so tight. I remember Noah came in and he was like, "That looks so sick," and I'm like, "Dude, it is," and it is really cool because like you're on a space station and you're trying to figure out like what happened, and there's like these AR recordings, and there's like and there's like an AI on the station,
Mm-hmm.
and um like I don't know, that was like that game was so cool. Like would highly recommend it. There's like other games out there that I still have on my wish list that are similar to that. Like Event Zero looks really cool, or like The Fall of Lazarus. Like there's a bunch of just cool ones out there. And I don't know, like just like story games like that in general. And some of them it's like very interesting to see the different art styles too. Like that's what was like really cool about Firewatch. Not to like not I don't
No,
mean
no,
that like
continue.
against you, Kyle. Like I just think that like the story was cool. And like I thought the art style was pretty neat. Um and like on the topic of neat art styles, like Borderlands, I think had a really cool art style too.
Mm-hmm.
I like Borderlands a lot.
Borderlands is a good series. I haven't finished the pre-sequel, but like the first two games are really good.
Oh my god!
What's up?
I just looked on
What?
Steam. Oblivion Game of the Year Edition Deluxe, $10.
I don't know what that is.
Oblivion.
It's
It's Elder Scrolls.
it's bef-
It's the one before
Oh.
Skyrim.
Yeah.
It's
Gotcha.
$10, and I might buy that.
Dude, there's still so many like space games on my wish list.
I was looking for.
Like,
I was looking for
Oh, Star Drop, that's the other one that's really
Skyrim,
cool. That's
so I
number
can-
2 on my wish list.
Skyrim Special Edition. Depending on how much it is, I might gift it to you, Luke.
and
Really,
make
you
it
don't have
play
to do
it.
that, man. I can buy my own games.
Yeah,
Dude,
but if you don't
okay,
if you
there-
don't get it, you're not or if I don't buy it for you, you're not going to play it. I know this.
Even if you do, I might not, because I have so many other games I need to play. Dude, they're remastering System Shock, and it looks so good. Like the video they have for it looks so good.
Hell, I might gift you the Oblivion that's on sale, Trey.
Nah,
Sure, you could run it.
Don't worry about it, man.
Yeah, don't do that. Night Dive Studios, that's who makes System Shock, and then they made other games, I swear. Did they make Spirits of Xanadu, or did they make
All right, boys. I'm thinking.
Tacoma? I don't
I'm
remember.
thinking. Maybe it's time we wrap this whole thing up.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Unless you guys have
All right.
anything to talk
Probably.
about.
No, I'll leave my other notes for later on.
All right.
I'm not in a roasting mood at the moment, so I'm not gonna drop down on that one.
Is that a
What do you mean
cliffhanger? Do I
roasting
smell a
mood?
cliffhanger?
Oh, it's Fulbright.
Yeah, you betcha.
All right. Well,
Oh no, Spirits of Xanadu is totally the Night Dive Studio game. Sorry,
I
continue.
think I've had a good time with y'all tonight. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about time we got one together.
Yeah. We'll be back probably in less than a week. I hope.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll make sure this works.
Thanks for tuning in. If you've been here this whole time. We'll see you next time. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
See you guys. Thank
Holla
you
at your boy.
for watching. Remember to click down the links down below and support us. Myself and Luke on Twitch. And then eventually when Trey drops his game, hopefully we're still doing our podcast by then.
Oh, and you know we're gonna be playing that game on
Oh,
stream
yeah.
You know we're gonna be playing that game. You know you're gonna be playing that game.
Yeah.
You know it's gonna be on Steam, and you know
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna fucking love it.
He doesn't have.
Anyway, guys,
Doesn't have a
Also-
name yet. Doesn't have a name yet.
it
but-
doesn't have a name,
Yeah.
but it's in development. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and see ya.
I know.
See y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.